Make me want to stretch too. I'll be over here. I don't want.
Good too, right?
Yeah, I don't want to pull anything. You won't be the only one dancing around. Thank you for joining us at KEXP, listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle, streaming worldwide at kexp.org. I'm Cheryl Waters, and it is always a treat when Chick 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 is in the house. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure to have you here. I'm excited to have you in the studio and chat with you for a change. We always get you out in front of a big live audience because that's where you really shine. But
wait till you see us interviewed, though.
Okay, I can't wait. But I'm going to have you play a couple of songs first. Their brand new album called Wallop. It's Chick 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 live on KEXP.
but I won't miss them. I got my conscience, but I won't listen. I stand accused of all the usual stuff. Heart is true, but is it strong enough? You know what they say, everybody has got a prize. Well, I guess that's true. I'll make my point. Na na na, na 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 na. Say na na na, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I'll make my point. Form my opinions from a comfortable position, but politics are still unproven. I don't know how I got on, but might as well use them. There's a comfort in my chosen delusion. $50,000 wouldn't change my mind. For 50 million now we're talking. Yeah, I've been tempted, but not that often. If they want some of this, well, it's gonna cost. I stand accused of all the usual stuff. My heart is true, but is it strong enough? You know what they say, everybody has got a prize. Well, I guess that's true. And 50 million's mine. I stand accused of that which I accuse you of. Now how about you? How much would be enough? You know what they say, wouldn't it be nice? Well, I guess that's true. I'll make my point. Na na na, na 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 na. Say na na na, na 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 na. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Na 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 na. I'll make my point.
Chick live on KEXP, songs from the new album Walla. My cheeks are hurting from smiling so much. And Nick, now I know why you were stretching before this session. They're playing tonight at the Crocodile. If you were thinking of going to the gym this evening, don't bother. You're going to dance your butt off at that show. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always so fun to see you live.
Yeah, no, it's always so fun to come here and play.
Can you introduce this wonderful band?
Well, first off, Mia Pace on vocals.
Hey, everybody.
Daniel Gorman on synthesizers, keyboards, and all that whatnot. Mario Andrioni on guitar. Raphael Cohen on guitar. They actually go back, both of those guys go back and forth between bass and guitar. And then Christopher Egan, Chris Egan on the drums.
You all make such beautiful music together, and this new album definitely packs a wallop. And it's jam-packed with a multitude of sounds from dance music's rich history, and even you've snuck a little psychedelia in there, maybe even a little trip hop. But the sounds of the 90s loom really large on this record, and those were the early days of Chick, Chick, Chick. So I'm wondering if this was, sort of a journey through nostalgia for you, and sort of how did you create this record?
Well, we're not that big on nostalgia. But we believe that contemporary music is always in a conversation with music from about 20 years ago. There's always something of a mirror effect going on. And, quite honestly, through the 90s, we weren't paying attention to trip hop and things like that. We were listening to music of the 70s. We were listening to James Brown and funkadelic and all that sort of stuff, you know. So we weren't paying attention. We kind of were honestly a bit stuck up about it, and kind of learning from those mistakes, we're a lot more open about whatever is happening. So the '90s to us is kind of it's new to us, you know. So we found that side of it inspiring. So it wasn't a nostalgia trip for us, because if we were doing that, the record would sound like James Brown.
You're just 20 years behind, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. We're 20 years behind.
Talk about the process of crafting this new record. I understand that you made it or recorded it at home, which it sounds like you do a lot of early demoing and stuff at home, but that you never really made a record at your house before.
Yeah, we've been doing this and that there, just synths and vocals, but this was the first time we kind of like set up and recorded there, and so it was a bit like, we did a tour where we played 10 songs every night, or all new songs, so we got all the songs really tough, and then came home and just went straight in the basement of my house and just banged them all out, because we're always trying to get that sweaty live feel. But this record was interesting in that a lot of the stuff that we've been doing beforehand with electronics and stuff kind of ended up being the songs that ended up on the record. So this tour has been exciting for us, because we're kind of like learning those electronic songs and how to play those. And that's always kind of exciting, because it makes you play so differently. Yeah,
you played with some new toys in the studio. What brought that about? What was the inspiration for that?
We're always just trying to like mess with stuff. We kind of believe like you find better things when you don't know how the machine works, So we're always like, what does this do? Hey, this is cool. Hit record, Like that's our style of writing,
Is it true that you sent some early versions of songs out to a bunch of friends and had them add some stuff and vote on what they liked the best? How'd that work?
Well, yeah. Well, we do something where we send instrumentals to other singers and stuff. We sent it to Maria Uzur from Sink Your Teeth, and she sang on some stuff. We sent it to Angus Andrew from Liars, and he sang on the first song we did on Off the Grid. And just to kind of get more. We feel like you can fall into ruts with your own songwriting when you're bouncing off other people, and like other things happen, Like both Maria and Angus did things that I never would have done, So that was really exciting. But then we kind of recorded like 18, 19 songs, and then had all our friends vote on them, and that's how the record was chosen.
Very democratic.
Somebody's got to be these days, right?
Exactly. Well, you take me right to my next question, is that you've never shied away from politics in your songs, but I've read some interviews about this record, and you talk about it really has to come up naturally for you. You're not trying to make a political statement with your music, but it's just what comes up for you. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because your last album, it came out at an interesting time, and people thought that you had written it about the times when it came out, but of course it had been written earlier.
Yeah, no, we actually debuted all the new songs from the last album the night that Hillary lost the election. So it was like, when everyone expected it to be political, we're like, yeah, no, this was written in that moment of blissful ignorance when we thought a clown was a clown. So with this record, we kind of came at it a little differently, and it was difficult to. It's been exciting this year to see like people who've actually nailed the political record, because so many times the political record is like, it just feels like a token thing, like you're doing it because you have to. Well, someone's got to say something, and it just comes off a bit like it doesn't contribute anything to the conversation. And we felt we were having a difficult time contributing something to conversation. When we kind of backed off it and kind of, I want to say we even kind of like addressed it from how it felt more, Then it came off a lot more naturally.
Well, you're definitely contributing a lot of joy to the conversation, which is something that is much needed right now. Sure. I want to ask you about a couple of the songs, because I feel like each song has its own personality. Obviously, you just played 50 Million. I bet you everybody asks you about the lyrics to that. Yeah. That's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, that one was kind of interesting, because we were doing an interview recently where someone said it was cynical, and like every time we sing it now, I'm like, wait, is this cynical? And I think I thought it was just realistic, and I thought it was just kind of funny. I mean, the idea that we're going to get $50 million is ludicrous. So it's kind of like, whenever someone asks us to do a remix and they're like kind of BS or something, we just say like, we'll do it for $10,000, because they're never going to give you $10,000. And so it's a nice way of saying no, So 50 million is a nice way of saying we're not going to sell out.
Exactly. And also Off the Grid, I heard that you wrote that up in Victoria, BC, which is right here in our hood.
That is true.
Poolside at a hotel.
Yeah, poolside at a hotel. That's true. Yeah. No. Raphael had kind of the main genesis and I think all the first verse. Then we were kind of like, well, we need to fill this out and make some more. And so yeah, we were poolside. It was I'm not gonna be clear. It was an unglamorous pool. It was an unglamorous hotel, but you know, glamorous enough, I suppose.
You ended up with that song.
We ended up with that
pretty
song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know that you're dedicated Prince fans, and I find myself thinking about him so often, and especially lately, and his extraordinary talent. And I know you're going to play this next song, My Fault, and that's a little Prince-esque to me.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, he stays with us. He's like you know, his posters are on my wall like the crucifix on a wall. It's like, you know, he's always there as you just need to like think of the song titles and think about his, you know, how he conducted himself as an artist, and that's always inspiring itself, you know.
Well, you'll have to stop by mine and Kevin Cole's office on your way out. You'll be very
You know,
inspired.
I'll stop by anyone's office if their name is Kevin Cool.
Yes, exactly. And you'll love those Prince posters for sure. They're right up your alley. We've got Chick 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 live in studio here at KEXP. Tonight they play at the Crocodile here in Seattle, a show not to be missed. And since I talked about that song, My Fault, can I talk you into playing it?
Let's do it.
is.
Thanks, KEXP. Here goes the last one.
Maybe you think that I don't notice, but I do. So I thought I should show this to you. This is the door. Baby, I can't go, it's there for you. This is the door. Sometimes you have to do what you're scared to do. Cause baby, it's gone, and you know it's true. And I can't be the one who's strong. I can't say just where my head's been at. I've been guilty of this and guilty of that. I changed my mind, I changed it back, I changed it back, I changed it back again, changed it back again. Maybe you think that I don't notice, but I do. Thought I should show this to you. This is the door. Baby, I can't, so it's there for you. This is the door. Sometimes you have to do what you're scared to do. Cause baby, it's gone, and you know it's true. And I can't be the one who's strong. This is the door. 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 Baby, it's gone, and you know it's true. know it's true, yeah. I can't be the one. I can't be the one who's strong for you. Strong for you, yeah. This is the door. 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 Baby, let's go. And you know it's true. And I can be the one. I can't be who's strong for you. No, I can be the one who's strong. I can be the one who's strong. Not anymore. 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 Not
Nobody gets left out at a Chick 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 show.
I just realized they were back there, like right when that song kicked in. I was like, oh.
Yeah, we've got a little
My
audience.
butt has been performing for them.
It always is, Nick. It always is. You've got it tuned to KEXP, Chick 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 in the house. Again, always such a pleasure and a treat. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much for having us.
Always. Come back again and see them tonight at the Crocodile here in Seattle and wherever they go on tour. It'll brighten your day. Their new album's called Wallop. Run out and get it. You've got it tuned to KEXP Seattle.
Thanks, bye.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't think I've ever seen our video run around like that.
Make sure to wipe these headsets down. They're really gross.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.